California voters in 2014 was sold to us as the Safe Streets and Schools Act. Well, that's probably been the biggest responsibility for some of the issues we have today. A lot of people got together and got enough votes that there will be initiative on the ballot in November to repeal a lot of that. You can thank Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. He was one of the driving forces behind that. So when you get your ballots, look for it, and please support it. And hopefully we'll bring back some accountability to some of these knuckleheads that do some of their stuff in our neighborhoods. That being said, where are we at? Anybody got questions on our crime stats? Everybody see those? They're getting passed out, I think. LT, are those current or those for April?
They are current.
Current as of today. For the month of April. Okay, so you got the same thing I have. Any questions on this sort of stuff, you guys? Anything you want to know, you want to ask?
Oh, you guys received it prior to?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We get it when we have the CAC meetings. The captain hands it out, and then the months we don't have it, she'll usually email it.
Okay.
So everybody pretty much, and then I distribute to everybody else. So it's all right. Okay. Do you guys have any updates for us on all our vehicle burdens?
You know, we had the Texas Salgado, we were waiting on him.
Okay.
He had actually a lot of things to kind of.
Okay. Well, we can bring that up a little bit later. Do you guys have
we
any?
can always bring him up. When he shows up, we'll pause and.
Do you guys have any questions for the deputies for the Highway Patrol? Questions? No questions? Everybody's good? Everybody's happy? Things are good? All right. Okay.
I wanted to bring up a couple things real quick.
Sure. Come on up,
Please
Sergeant.
step up. There's some folks online. So that,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's great. So yesterday we ran an operation with the health department, and that included the areas of Lenox, Del Air, and Wiseburn for illegal street food vendors. The health department brought out a huge box truck, and we drove through the area and provided assistance for them. We did get some information for the Wiseburn area where they came out. This was a daytime operation. Unfortunately, none of the street food vendors during the daytime were set up at this location. We did get a substantial amount of illegal food vendors in the Lenox area. Del Air didn't have too many or have any locations either. So we will be running another operation for nighttime areas in which we will come back out and with the input from the community members, we will check the location and ensure that there's no illegal street vending that is occurring. And one last thing, I handed out a flyer. The Sheriff's Department, in collaboration with the United States Department of Justice and the Community Relations Services for the Sheriff's Department, is going to be holding a community dialogue meeting. This meeting is set up for June 12, 2024 from 5 p.m. to 7:30 at St. Francis at 1430 West Imperial Highway. We're hoping that the community members would come out and express their concerns, speak to the deputies. We're going to have deputy personnel speaking to different groups, and the sheriff will also be there too, so you can directly address your concerns with the sheriff and listen to what he has to say to the community. If you can, please try to register beforehand. We do have limited number of seatings. There is a QR code you can scan with your phone, access it, and register prior to the meeting. So if you get a chance to do that, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you did not receive the flyer or lose the flyer, it is posted to our social media, so you can access it via our social media on Instagram. That's South LA LESD. We also did post a PSA in regards to vehicle burglaries, some tips for the community members to try to keep your vehicle safe. So if you want to check out our Instagram profile, there is that reel and a narrative on how to protect your vehicle, because I understand that is one of your great concerns out here. Lieutenant Salgado is on his way, and I also have our 2 deputies from our summer crime enforcement program that are going to be on their way, so I can introduce you to. That is going to consist of 8 deputies and a sergeant that are going to be working throughout the unincorporated and incorporated areas of the South LA reporting district. So I can introduce you to them, and then they'll be also coming to these meetings for the next couple months, at which time, once that concluded, we will return our community relations team. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Will the meeting be in the hall
I believe it is going to be in the Great Hall, yes. Yeah, but please make sure to register if you can. If you can't, it's fine, just reach out to me and I can provide you some assistance making that happen. Okay? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You guys remember the email I sent out about the vehicle break-ins, right? We've been slammed pretty darn hard. For strange reasons, only pretty much on our south end. And even weirder still, it's only very concentrated to 4 or 5 houses east and west of Ocean Gate. Don't know why, but that seems to be the pattern right now. They're just, most of them, from the videos I've seen, it's a group of people walking around pulling door handles and finding cars that are unlocked. There have been, I'm aware of at least 5 actual forced entries. And the thought is they're using a window punch and actually just punches a window and shatters it, and they're able to go in and take a bunch of stuff. So keep an eye on your cars, keep them locked, keep them under lights as best you can, and keep fingers crossed. Any other questions? Questions for the deputies? Questions for Highway Patrol? Any questions on crime? You guys are good? Let's move on. As soon as Lieutenant Salgado gets here, we'll probably take a break and hear what he has to say about the vehicle crime. All right?
So we have Ara on from the 2nd District and our liaison for our deputy for constituent engagement here to talk to us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Eddie. My name is Ara An. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Deputy for Constituent Engagement at Supervisor Holly Mitchell's office. And today, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate you. So today, I know we have different presentations, so I want to be really brief. I have shared this to local community groups, and I saw Eddie sharing to the Wiseburn Watch Network. Thank you so much for that. So our office received a new updated flyer from Department of Public Works. This was sent to us around like beginning of May. And I put this flyer at the table, so feel free to get them. We have some in English and Spanish. And this has really thorough information where you can contact depending on the need. And I think they did a great job because they showed a picture of street and infrastructure issues, and they number that and put phone numbers that you can reach out to. So in case you need to reach out to a certain division really quickly, this is really handy. And so again, the flyer is there. If you want digital copy, it has been emailed out, so please check it out. I also want to elevate that there is the Works app that's listed here. One thing that's convenient about the Works app is by a click of a button, you can submit the request, and you don't have to wait on phone call for like 20 minutes or so, right? So the Works app, I gotta say, is convenient, but let's say it's urgent and you need to reach someone, the phone numbers can be helpful. So I want to share this awesome flyer that DPW made. So please check it out. And our office, we have signature event annually, and that is Juneteenth celebration. We're going to have 4th annual Juneteenth celebration on June 21st. It will be at Victoria Community Regional Park. And if you visit our website at mitchell.lacounty.gov, then you'll be able to find more information on it. And it's a community event that we share to many people, even if you're outside of our district. If people want to learn about it, this is, an event that we welcome everyone. So feel free to share. And yeah, I know that National Night Out was in the agenda today. I appreciate Eddie for bringing it up, and it's been a pleasure for our office to partner last year. And we have worked with Wiseburn Library to secure the location, and there was financial sponsorship too. So I'll be happy to work with Eddie to coordinate that. But yeah, again, thank you so much, and I'm gonna pass it back to you, Eddie. Thank you.
Thank you, Ara.
Eddie? Sergeant wants to introduce the summer.
The summer, please, come on up, sir. The summer program officer, all right.
So once again, I'm Sergeant Hayes. I would like to introduce 2 of the deputies who are on the Summer Crime Enforcement Program. They consist of a team of 8 deputies and 1 sergeant. They're going to be mainly enforcing observational arrests to try to reduce the crime rate. You guys want to introduce yourself?
Deputy Hovnessian.
I'm Deputy Lupins.
Probably went to the station about 2 years, as well as my partner. First time on the summer team, so we're excited. If you guys have anything, any concerns, just give the station a call. Let us know. Try and do more patrol checks to this area, okay?
We do know about all the recent vehicle burglaries in the area. With the time that they're going to off our reports, that's the time we work. So we'll be doing patrol checks through your guys' area, and hopefully get those guys.
We're really glad you guys are doing this. Thank you, guys.
So, before I introduce the Office of Cannabis Management, are you guys aware of everything that Public Works does? Everything from inoperable traffic lights, broken street lights, bus stop amenities, tree maintenance, graffiti abatement, abandoned shopping carts, catch basin maintenance, illegal dumping, curb gutter sidewalk repair, pothole pavement repairs, sewer utility covers, street sweeping, and parkway maintenance. All that falls under the guise of Public Works. But whenever we have the heavy rains and I call them to repair a little patch of Ocean Gate, within about 72 hours, they come out and patch it. So use it, or if not, use the Works app. If you can't contact them directly with the phone numbers in the handout, the Works app issues a ticket and they follow those tickets to closure. So I'm going to introduce the Office of Cannabis Management, who has a short presentation, and Suzette, I'll let Suzette introduce herself, and while I switch slides for her.
Good evening, everyone. Let me adjust this just a little bit. Thank you so much for having us again. No, it's perfectly fine because I have Suri with me and there's kind of a height difference, so. My name is Suzette Beeman. I am with the LA County Office of Cannabis Management, and I have here with me Suri Steele, who is a part of our affirmative litigation division for LA County County Council. And we're both kind of share this presentation just to provide you some information. Those of you who were here the last time we were here, thank you for having us. If this is your first time meeting us, feel free after the meeting to stop by, ask any questions. I have my contact information here, as well as a handout that is at the front desk that talks about the Works app as well, but it goes more in depth into how to report illicit cannabis businesses that you may see in your neighborhood, okay? All right, thank you. So just a little insight on OCM. So OCM, since 2017, the department has served LA County and its residents by leading the transition of cannabis to the regulated market with policies that seek to protect consumers, promote health and safety of our communities, and with focus on responsible regulation and education, hence why we're here. We're really big on education at this point, given that the regulatory market is currently not legal in the unincorporated area. So there are some incorporated cities, such as City of Hawthorne, who do allow it at this time. However, the unincorporated areas do not. And so I have here Suri Steele with the Office of County Counsel, which provides legal representation, advice, and counsel to the Board of Supervisors, county departments, special districts, and other public agencies as mandated and authorized by the county charter and state statutes. Thank you. So I'm just going to give a brief overview of the Cannabis Consumer Health and Safety Task Force, and this is a compilation of multiple departments that work together internally as well as in the public to ensure that we, I don't want to say keep tabs, but we keep proper tally of those illicit businesses that are reported to us, as well as see what can be done to get them closed, whether it's law enforcement or if it's our regional planning, if there's any violations when it comes to the buildings that they're using, Department of Public Health. So just a small brief overview. LASD Sheriffs investigates and confirms illegal cannabis business sales, so they'll do secret buys, they'll go in, they'll take photos. We do not suggest that the community does this on their own for safety reasons. Please just report it. If you happen to know a location or see a location, feel free to send a photo if it was safe for you to take a photo. But other than that, an address would be just fine. Between my office, Office of Cannabis Management, LASD, they will actually go out and take the proper information and things that are needed. We also have regional planning, which researches property ownership Is the person that's operating this illegal business the owner of the property, or are they renting under a fictitious business? Is the owner aware that these illegal activities are happening? Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. So we do have kind of intermingling of departments to ensure that we are getting all the information that's needed. And
Suzette, I'll interrupt
Yes.
you just for a second.
Sure.
So from a management perspective, is Cannabis managing, when the case is open or
Mm-hmm.
when a report is made? Would you guys prefer, because we have contacts in all of these departments, right?
right.
And we reach out to whoever gives us the quickest action. That's just the way the ball rolls.
Right.
Is the preference that you guys do the management and coordination?
So-
Is that what you're?
We're more so the public-facing entity because it's not always easy getting in contact with someone from the other departments. So the Board of Supervisors has kind of directly but indirectly made us the overall umbrella over this, even though we don't have authority to close the business, meaning I'm not a law officer, so I can't go in and shut them down. But all the other realms of it, we do assist with that, yes.
So we're looking, so for the next instance that comes about.
Yes.
We want guidance. Do we go to you as our interface to all these
Yes.
entities?
Yes.
That's, okay.
Yes.
That's where we want.
And you can do it directly to us via our email, or you can do it through the Works app as well. That gets pinged through Public Works, but it comes directly to our office. Okay? All right. County Council, which is Suri, which is our public counsel, they send warning letters to property owners, file civil actions. They work directly with the Sheriff's Department to provide them the data that they need to pursue enforcement measures. I can let Suri kind of talk more about that. I'm not legal advisor, but we have district attorneys who reviews referrals and files criminal cases pursuant to their office policy. And also, depending on who is in office, that policy fluctuates and changes. So just please keep that in mind when you have concerns about enforcement on that level. It really depends on what the office's policy is at that time for the district attorney. We also have Public Works, which investigates building violations. Sometimes they are stealing electricity from neighboring businesses, stealing water, just doing things illegally, taking up space that's not theirs. So they have the authority to kind of get that information and shut it down as well. And then also public health, safety code violations, infestations, mold, things of that nature. We tally all of that to ensure that there's a solid case for Suri and her team to move forward. And so I'm going to let Suri actually talk about the enforcement portion. And again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to interject. Thank you. Or after the presentation, we can answer more. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzette. So as Suzette said, my name is Suri Steele, and I've attended your meetings before. I don't know, I recognize several of the faces, so thank you for having us tonight. I'm going to talk a little bit about the enforcement for cannabis cases. Our office has been enforcing the county's ban. We prohibit all commercial cannabis businesses at the present time. We are working on a regulatory framework so that we can lift the ban and allow commercial cannabis activities with permits issued by Suzette's Office of Cannabis Management, and the other county departments that would have a role in regulating a commercial cannabis business, like fire department and regional planning, health department. Anyway, when we get a referral that an illicit cannabis business may be operating in the county's unincorporated areas, because that's what our office has jurisdiction over, so we don't have jurisdiction in the incorporated cities, just the unincorporated areas that you guys are concerned about. We make sure that we have it on our list, and we look to see if it's near any sensitive uses, any schools, churches, community centers, libraries, parks, because then we prioritize it. We have a lot of illicit businesses, and we want to make sure that we get to the ones that are, in the areas of concern first. And so we investigate it. We work with the Sheriff's Department. We work with regional planning, as Suzette said, to determine who owns the properties. Because when we do file a civil action, We filed against both the owner of the real property, because they are not allowed to rent or lease their properties to an illicit cannabis business. And we also filed a lawsuit against the business operator. So we usually send out warning letters to both the business owner and the property owner, and then we seek voluntary compliance. So if they're willing to work with us, and what that means is the property owner is willing to start with an eviction of their tenant for engaging in this illegal activity, then we will work with the property owner. We work very closely with the property owner to make certain that they start with their notice, which is required before they file what's called an unlawful detainer action. And there are occasions where those steps that they're supposed to be taken aren't happening the way they should be. And what we'll do is we'll just file a lawsuit against both parties. If we don't get any response on our warning letters, then we just file the lawsuit. We do face a lot of challenges with these cases. I've been with the county almost 30 years now, and I've seen I've done my share of litigation, and not just cannabis cases, but the cannabis cases, while they're not substantively difficult anymore, because we've pretty much litigated many of the issues of first impression now, that procedurally they're difficult, because, for example, we have problems identifying who the business operator is. Oftentimes they operate under a fictitious business name, or it's not a legal entity. It's not a corporation or a limited liability company formed under the state of California's laws. It's just Compton Connect, and we don't know who's behind it. And then sometimes if they do incorporate, they incorporate in the state of Delaware. And that makes things difficult, because Delaware doesn't require people to disclose who the principals of the business are. Or if they do disclose to Delaware who the principals are, Delaware doesn't share that information. So it becomes difficult to determine who to sue. We don't have those exact same problems with the property owners, because we can look at our county records and find out who owns the properties. But it does get a little complicated when the properties are held in the names of corporations that are formed in the state of Delaware. Then we're back to that problem again. But once we, figure out who we're going to sue, then we file the lawsuit, and then sometimes we have service of process issues. What that means is, once we file a lawsuit, we have to serve the defendants with the summons and complaint, and we have to personally serve them. There are exceptions where we can do what's called substitute service on members of the household, and then we have to follow that up by mailing service. But we have problems with people trying to evade service. So then we also, part of the problem is with the difficulty with cannabis enforcement is, as you probably know, they make a lot of money. They bring in huge daily profits every day. So it just behooves them to violate the law. They just don't care. The consequences, that they think they're facing, aren't motivation enough to comply with the law. And so with the businesses, even when we get judgments against the businesses, if we don't know who they are exactly, then, that a judgment against, a fictitious business name statement doesn't really mean anything. But when we get a judgment against the property owner, that's worth its weight in gold, because then we can get a lien against the property and collect that way, and we can get what's called an injunctive relief order, which orders the business to shut down. We have the additional problem of our court orders being ignored. We will personally we'll have sheriffs serve our court orders. to shut the businesses down, and oftentimes they just ignore them. And then we have to go in with sheriff and, forcefully remove them and change the locks and all that. And sometimes they come in the middle of the night and change the locks again and go back in there and start business. And it's cyclic. And, the criminal penalties have been reduced, so what was a felony is now a misdemeanor, what's a misdemeanor is now an infraction. And so, and our district attorney, I think, prosecutes some of the cases, but not nearly as many as we would like. So we do our share of filing civil cases. We see a lot of litigation delays when we're in court. The defendants play a lot of games and slow down the case from moving forward, which it's very frustrating, but it's exactly what they want because it allows them to stay in business and keep making more money. And then there's the whack-a-mole problem, and what that means is we shut down at one location, like at 13705, you guys might be aware of that one, and we believe that they then moved to 13763, which hasn't started operating yet, I don't think, but we're watching it. It's shut down? Okay, good. So they move around, and it's very problematic. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a map of your community. The yellow dots represent where we've had dispensaries operating. I believe right now, I think all of them are shut down. Unless you guys are aware of any, please let me know. But right now, it's rare. It's rare that, so. Okay, yeah, on the next slide, okay, it shows the ones that we've shut down in most recently, and then the 13763 South Inglewood. Again, we're going to watch it because, we're just not sure, but we're working with the property owner. So,
13763?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
okay.
You want to give an update on that, Tim? Sounds like you have more recent.
So it's the same people who, this was their third location on Inglewood Avenue. And they anticipated leaving at some point 13705 Inglewood, and they had rented the space at 13763 in November of '22. And they've been paying rent at that empty spot since then. So as soon as things were culminating, whatever that was, at 13705, there was overnight, 24-hour-a-day construction in there for like 2 or 3 days, and they opened. The difference between this location compared to the last two is the amazing cooperation we had from everybody involved and the property owner. Key element. So he did his part diligently along with everybody else. The Sheriff's Department was diligent on it still. He filed an eviction that was successful, got him out. The next night or so, they came back. Just like she said, they came back in, changed the locks. Thanks, let me know. Basically, he'd sent his demands. So the sheriffs were called back out. Since the eviction was served, they were there illegally. They were removed. The sheriffs were there. They saw things in there that shouldn't be. They took possession of the product that they were selling and other things that were illegal. And the owner came in, and everything that's attached to the building that they built is the owner's, because it's part of the building now, and he didn't like it, so he removed it all. That same day, he had a crew come in, and he tore everything out on the interior. He left the property that belongs to those people in there, so they can claim it when they want for whatever time limit there is on it. But when they came back, and they could see all the way through to the back wall, and there was nothing left, they were done.
What date was this, when was this?
It was last week.
I was in touch with the narcotics detective when this was going on.
Absolutely.
They reached out to me, and so I was advising sheriff on what to do, and they were working with the property owner, so it worked out. I was surprised, though, to hear, and I asked sheriff to make certain that that the property owner had a writ, which is a court order, evicting them, because it happened so fast that.
He did.
So I was surprised, but very pleased, of course.
Yes.
But you sure got a lot of information.
I'm sorry?
I said, you sure got a lot of information. I should be in touch with you.
Give me a call.
So, yeah, so that was a good result. It really helps when we have responsible property owners. It really makes a huge difference. We don't get that too much these days. We get property owners that when we catch them and you know they're receiving our letters, they act very surprised. You know that, oh, and I mean, if they're in the area, they should know what's going on with their properties. Their property manager should be informing them. It's very easy to tell whether or not a property owner, is truly, on our side and trying to do the right thing. Because then we are generally able to shut it down a lot faster. So anyway, let's see, next slide.
I'm just going to wrap.
Is that, okay.
Just a few more slides. And Ara actually spoke to you about the Works app earlier. And this screen actually, if you can tap it for me, just kind of gives you, or space bar? Yeah, that's good. It just shows you the different images in which the features you go through in order to get to cannabis, to report a legal cannabis dispensary. You can actually geotag it. You can upload a image. You can request that your submission is done anonymously. So even though it's associated to your phone and your email that you input, if you have requested to stay anonymous, we will not include your personal information into our system. It will come in as anonymous with the information. So please don't hesitate just for the fact that you feel your name will be attached. Just please put a small blurb, I would like to be anonymous, okay? Thank you for that. And then lastly, it's just the page in regards to our contact email, which is simply cannabis@lacounty.gov. Okay, and I also put my email address just in case, which is a little bit more lengthy and complex. So feel free just to send it to cannabis@lacounty.gov, and we'll get back to you directly. And then this second to last slide is just open the floor for any questions that anyone has. Yes, sir.
Why do we have to go through all of this malarkey? Why don't, once the place is identified, it's reported, why don't the police come in and say, you have about 1 hour to get your stuff out of here, after that the county owns it. Clock's ticking, who do we have next? I mean, done.
I will let Sari answer that, given that she's our legal counsel.
Because there's this legal concept called due process, and you aren't, you can't, somebody is not just guilty. You have to, issue out your notices and give them an opportunity to get out. Just like, it's like you have to go through the eviction process. Just because you find out that your tenant is engaging in what you believe to be an illicit activity, you can't just lock them out. We'd like to, but you can't do that, so. I mean, until we change the law.
Until we change the law.
Yes.
So you talk about how when law enforcement is called and they clear them out, what criminal charges are imposed on people that are conducting the business?
What law enforcement does is when they go in on a search warrant and they find evidence, evidence of a crime, then they package a case and refer it to the district attorney's office for filing considerations. Oftentimes, it could be a felony, illegal sales, or maybe sales to a minor, or minor working at the dispensary. or they could employ a security guard with an unlicensed firearm. Sometimes it's just a misdemeanor. And so the DA may or may not take the case.
So I guess my point is.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like routinely anyone is actually arrested and put in jail, hence why they come back immediately the next day.
Well, when they're misdemeanor arrests, they're usually cited out, meaning they issue a citation with a notice to appear in court. But for misdemeanors, the sheriff's department has a policy that they just usually cite out. They don't, arrest and take them down to the station unless they're not in the system, and then they have to arrest them and take them down to the station so they can book them and fingerprint them and all that. If it's a felony, then they usually do take them to the station. So does that answer your question?
Pretty much, yeah. One more question.
Sure.
Clearly, who is the district attorney?
I believe it's Gascon.
Yes, thank you.
Vote, people, vote.
Any more questions? All right, if you think of any, our email address is on the flyer as well. And then just one more slide I wanted to just give a little insight on is that the Office of Cannabis Management will be hosting candid conversations about cannabis throughout LA County. We have about 16 sessions scheduled through all districts, supervisorial districts. You'll have more information coming soon. But I did want to just make you guys aware that we will be available to educate the community. As we said earlier in the presentation, my office has been tasked with creating the regulatory framework for commercial cannabis businesses to operate. That is not live as of this time. However, we do want to prepare the community for what does that mean. We're going to have candid conversations about cannabis. What do you want to know? We will explain that to you so that everyone feels comfortable that this is coming. And just, we want to be more visual in the community so people know who we are and are comfortable coming to us. So once the businesses are operating, which are legal businesses, not selling to minors, not trashing your neighborhoods, actual legal dispensaries. And we'll be starting off with 25 total throughout unincorporated LA County. So we're starting off very small. You may not even see one in your area. You know, we're working on that piece. But I did want to kind of give you guys a heads up that we will be having these sessions. I will provide it to Eddie as well as Ara once we have our official kind of flyer prepared with all the dates and times. But I just wanted to make sure you guys know that we are here and we want to hear what you have to say. We want to educate you on different topics throughout cannabis. So.
And if you have any questions, we'll be here for a little while afterwards. And Ara?
Thank you. Suzanne, I'm sorry. I just want to tell you thank you so much for coming today, and I appreciate it.
Oh, certainly.
And yeah, I know OCM is doing like outreach, and I'm glad that Wiseburn is one of the first groups to like learn about this. So again, I really appreciate you for being here tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Sorry, thank you for being here. Yep.
Yeah, well, thank you for being a great crowd.
So, I see that Lieutenant Salgado is here. Please, sir. Welcome. We'll give him a few minutes to give us some updates that I think he wanted to give us.
Hi, good afternoon. Apologize for being late. I was just going to update you on the vehicle burglaries that are occurring here in the area. There was 7 vehicle burglaries from April 21st to May 4th. Okay, although it's 7, doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. But there's also a lot of them that go unreported. Okay, and you know, we're going to put resources according to where the crimes are occurring, right? On top of our regular patrol, then we'll assign deputies to certain areas because of the current trends, right? Let's call this one a trend, the vehicle burglaries in this area. So, but I need you to notify us. You have to call us. Nextdoor app is a great way to communicate with the neighbors, but you're not communicating with us. You have to give us a call. Deputy comes over and determines if there's a crime or not, and they'll take a report. And that becomes a stat, right? Now we can compare those stats, or let's say out of these 7, the one that wasn't reported has good video, good surveillance video that captures a license plate, captures the face of the suspect, right? We have facial recognition now. Right now, we can identify people with facial recognition or just a partial license plate. That will give us workable information to work the cases, and then we can possibly solve the other cases that we didn't have any workable information on. So I need everyone to report these cases, no matter how minute the property that was stolen was, or the damage to the vehicle, right? The damage to your vehicle is a couple $100 to replace a window. It's still reportable. And even if there is no damage, they stole some coin from the ashtray or other property, just report it. It doesn't take that long for us to take a report, but at least we're aware of what's going on, and then we can increase patrolling through those times, right, that these burglaries are occurring, and that will help us, either put a big impact or just reduce it completely, right? What I also need from the community is, do not leave your valuables in the vehicle, any valuables, period, because people are walking the streets throughout the night and the day, door checking. Door checking is when they're just walking by and lifting on the door handle, see which one is open, because they don't want to break windows and make noise and wake people up. So they just door check, and if the car's open, they open it, reach in, grab whatever they can, and they're on their way. Or they're walking by and they're looking to see what's inside. If it looks good, they're going to break the window. So if you don't leave your purse, your laptops, any digital devices, it's not visible, good possibility they're going to move on to the next one, right? So don't leave anything in your vehicles, anything valuable. Some people leave the doors open because there's nothing in there. It's better than leaving it locked and they break the window and they don't take anything, right? So it's up to you what to do, but keep your valuables out of your car. That would help out. Yes, sir.
So I understand what you're saying, that these are the more common sense suggestions, but what we are hearing sometimes, that is occurring more often, people are like parking their cars in their driveway lot, and maybe even tucked in close to the house, and these people are brazen enough to actually approach a car that close to the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that has happened as well, because we see the video surveillance of all the reports. I'll see the videos, and you see them walking up all the way up to the side doors. I mean, all the way down your driveway, and they're checking doors, right? And it's brazen, right? But again, we go back to what is the overall outcome for someone breaking into your car, right? What happens? Let's say we do identify the guy that burglarized your car. We present it to the district attorney. They may or may not file the case, and then they may or may not go to court. They may or may not go to jail. So there's no consequence, right? So we need to work on the consequences, right? Because if there's consequences, that minimizes the crime as well, right? But if we're not aware of it either, we can't go in and enforce it, and we can't go and be proactive in certain areas to identify the people that are doing it and catch them in the act. But again, even if we catch them in the act, we arrest them, we take them to jail, write the reports, provide it to the district attorney, and it's in their hands now, right? So whatever they do, whatever policies they have, that's up to them, right? So we have to work together and try to figure out how to solve it. And a good possibility is maybe some more consequences, right? Whatever they may be. And the enforcement on our end, I mean, I work the watch commander most of the time. I can brief all my deputies, say this is where my crimes are occurring. I need you to pay more attention to this area tonight, right? On these hours, right? Because I'm working different hours at the station. I can work a day shift, or early morning, and PM shift. And I'm aware of everything that's going on because I'm in Detective Bureau, and I'm aware of all the crimes that are happening all over the county and in the city that we provide services for. So that gives me a little bit more knowledge than the other watch commander that only works a particular shift. So, but I need to know. And if I don't know that these crimes are occurring, there's really not much I can do is send more deputies out there to pay specific attention to our area.
I'd like to know what the process is to file a report, because I think, when people don't know what the process is, they're not inclined to
do it?
Okay, so a process to file a report. I know other agencies, not the sheriff's department, we were online. I think during COVID, we were online reporting system, but we went away with that, and that's one of the unique things that we have as a sheriff's department. If you make a phone call, we're gonna send a deputy to your house. The deputy's gonna go to your house and determine if you have a crime or not. If the report needs to be taken, they'll take the report. So the first thing you have to do is call our station and say, I would like to have a deputy come over because I believe my car was broken into. The deputy will go and he'll determine if there is a crime or not, and then they'll write a report. And if you have video surveillance or if your neighbors have it, you know, let us know, give us that information, because if you don't give us the video, the next door neighbor is not gonna call us and say, hey, here's your video. By the time my detectives get that report that's pending, because there's no workable information, it could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month later. Yes, ma'am.
Did you say that you work with the watch commanders and all?
Yes.
So do the deputies at the desk know what's going on as far as, so last night I made a call, it went well. Email deputy, I actually didn't take your names, so I'm glad it went well. And there was a vehicle with Texas plates that had been coming and going often and sitting there for 8 hours at a time. And they did come out, and the guy actually left, it was midnight, left about 15 minutes, but I just want to make sure the desk deputies, the ones that we're calling, understand, because I did explain it.
Yes.
I used very careful words explaining it.
Now,
I've seen this vehicle here, it's
Gotcha.
been here a lot, it's parked where it could look into the houses, and I know that I actually said, and I know the captain, I'm a CAP member, I know the captain told us in our last meeting that this is up. I need you to come out and check it out.
yes, yes.
And for the most part, they did. She did say, well, maybe he's just sleeping in the vehicle. And I'm like, well, even if he's just sleeping in the vehicle, that's not okay too. But anyway, they sent
Now-
somebody out. I just want to make sure that the deputies are answering the phones, know that we're looking at suspicious people. I personally, in the last year, have had a catalytic converter stolen, car parked in front of my house. My mom's car was stolen, and when they stole my mom's car, they hit my husband's car. So I've had a lot going on in the
Right.
last year with cars. So I'm seeing people hanging around for long periods of time. I'm calling, and now we're having our numbers go up, so I want to make sure they
No,
all know.
sure.
Everyone who answers the phone.
Yes, everyone in, you know, like I said, I'm the watch commander, and then I'm in charge of,
Oh, you
of
are
the,
the watch
of
commander, I'm
the,
sorry.
well, I'm the watch commander because I work a lot of overtime there at the desk, but I'm the detective lieutenant. But I've been there at the station for 2 years, and I was a watch commander for a year, and just dealing with the operations of the desk and supervising, obviously, everyone in the field. Now, I understand that we are all human, right? In any business, we have to work on our customer service, right? And it's very difficult when we're dealing with different personalities, right? Someone might be having a bad day, or not, you know, so good of a day. They're answering 911 calls. Their stress level is really high, and then they get another call of, can you come check the license plate or a Texas plate that's here? They might think that, you know what, I'm just dealing with a extreme emergency over here where people are getting shot, and I'm getting a call over here. So their stress level goes up and down. It's not an excuse.
Right, because
It's
we
not an
don't want to
excuse.
be the neighborhood getting the phone call about
Correct.
shootings, and this is how we prevent them.
But it's not an excuse for them not to provide good service to you. So we've been working on that. I've been there for almost 2 years, and that was one of the main, you know, things that I noticed, that we had to improve our customer service, answering our phones.
Well, that didn't happen until the captain left, and then there was a substitute, and you guys went way up, and then you went way down during COVID, and I see now.
And
Since the
that's what I'm saying, when I got
captain-
here about 2 years ago, and then we didn't have a captain, we were always
Right.
on a, you
Things
know.
fell apart.
So now we have Nikki Palomino as our captain, and since she's been here, I can say, we've been making drastic changes, right? As far as working with the communities that we serve, right? And I'm aware of everything, all the meetings we go in other areas, and we have been making a difference. And I'm not gonna say we're 100% yet at the desk for providing you,
It was a
you
great
know.
experience. It really was. She was fun. It was good.
But I know they're still going on, and we're still working, because, and there's a process of dealing with employees, and it takes a while, right? But we are working on that to provide you better service. But at any point, you feel you're not getting good service, just say, you know what, can you transfer me to the watch commander? Right?
The only reason I said no is that I would rather call back and call the watch commander, because in previous times, there have been issues where that person does not want to transfer.
Okay, so then just call back and say, as soon as they answer the phone, may I speak with the watch commander?
Or they want to ask you 50 questions.
And then
Yeah.
and then you say, you know what, I'd just like to speak with the watch commander, and they'll transfer it. They'll transfer the call. Right, and then I'll deal with it, or the other lieutenant will deal with it, and make sure you get the service you need.
So is there a different number for the sheriff that we'd be calling, or just call 911?
No, not 911. 911 is just for emergencies only.
Okay.
And an emergency being what? Heart attack, somebody's getting shot, someone's getting assaulted, anything that you need immediate, right, response, right? A life-threatening emergency, right? They'll say 911, what's your emergency? Or what's your life-threatening emergency? A lot of people call 911 and then they want to report, the cat stuck on a tree, right? So it's like, wait a minute, can you please hold? And then they put you on hold. They get upset because for them, that is a priority, right? Whatever it might be. But it's not a life-threatening emergency. So you call the regular station number for...
And what is the station?
It's
323,
Huh?
323, 820, 6700.
700. Okay. Thank you.
South Valley Sheriff Station.
That's the non-emergency number, right?
That's correct, yes. It's a non-emergency number and if you hear it ring several times, just let it ring. Eventually, someone's going to pick up. And again, the staffing, depending on how many people are working there, answering 911 calls, if they're busy with something else, or if I have an emergency, if I have a pursuit, or if I have a man with a gun running around, most likely all the attention is to that incident, and all the calls have to just be on hold unless they're 911 calls, right? 911 calls will get answered, but the regular landlines, the phone will just keep ringing until we're done with the emergency we're dealing with. You got another question, sir?
Eddie, can you put our crime stat number up there one
And
more
just
time?
to touch on your dispensaries, you guys were talking about the property owners, right? It's a lucrative business to run a dispensary, right? These businesses are making, a couple $100,000 a night, a day, right? So if you're the property owner and you lease the property for 3, 4, 5, 10 times of what the current lease rate is, are you gonna say anything? You're just gonna get that $15,000, $20,000 a month. Cash money, and you're gonna say, I don't know what they're doing as a property owner. So those are problems we're dealing with as well. The property owners have to have some type of ethics and say, hey, this is not good for the community, but when it's money, a lot of money, they might think otherwise and just take that money and not report that business, right?
I just want to drive this point home a little bit more, you guys. What the lieutenant has here, the 7 or 8 they talked about, this is what's reported. Look at that map. That's our neighborhood for the month of April. Those of you like me who have been around a while, you're out and about every day, people talk to you, that you know things. Every month, what's reported is not actually what happens. What happens is a whole lot more. He talked about 7 or 8. I can tell you 7 cars were hit on my block alone. What I know of personally, it exceeds 20 in the last 6 weeks. But what's been reported is 7 or 8. It's very important that you guys report problems. Just like I said in my email, a report generates a stat. A stat generates a resource. Resource generates money. Everything operates on a statistic. If there's 400 crimes going on in a neighborhood, the entire station's going to be there. If there's 400 crimes going on, but they only know about 5, it's a normal day. This has been going on in my mind for years in our neighborhood. I think Del Aire's the same way. There's more stuff that happens than what actually gets reported. And that's key.
And we have to make sure everything is reported, because again, the way services are allocated to communities is, what is the population? Do we have the current population of this area? Has it increased in the past 5 years? And it's still the same from 5 years ago or 15 years ago? That's what the numbers that they're going off of. And then policing as well. How many deputies do I have for this area? Has it changed at all in the past 5, 10, 15 years? Or is it the same? But the crime and population has increased. And if the crime is not being reported, I can't go and say, hey, you know, I need more deputies for my station, right? And if I can prove to my, you know, commanders in chief, and ultimately they'll go to the sheriff will go to the board of supervisors and said, I need more money for policing, right? To add more resources, they could say, well, here's some more money, go deal with this crime trend that we have, right? Get some more resources in there. But if I don't have the numbers, I can't say I have a problem here, right? So that's why that's very important that I get that phone call. And other resources, and then we can bring resources from other county areas. You know, we have a good relationship with our TRAP, which is the vehicle theft unit, and I can call them and they can come out here and do operations all the time because we have a good working relationship. You know, I think we've done, since I've been here, maybe about 6 operations already. And I can call him today, can you come out next week? And he'll send a team over here, right? But I need the numbers to show that this is what's going on, right? But even then, I'm still gonna call him because it's gonna prevent, right? So I'm still bringing in TRAP, we're bringing in the county health department to help with the street vendors. A lot of that crime also is street vendors. They come and they rob the street vendors, right? So if we're proactive in those ways, we'll reduce the crime as well. Okay. Sir.
So I do have a question now. So you were talking about how if neighbors have pictures and videos, if they could just submit them to help you out. How effective are videos for you in making an arrest or finding a pattern?
Well, let's say the video from there was a recent animal abuse case not that long ago in Lawndale and in the Lenox area. And we were able to identify the suspect based on that video. The video captured, although it didn't give me an actual facial recognition, but it gave me a good look at the face and the clothing that he was wearing. And once we were able to identify that person, we served a search warrant, we recovered the clothing based on that video, because this is what you were wearing, right? So that helps solidify our case, video. So if you have video, it's going to show the color of the car, the color of the sneakers, what type of sneakers they were wearing, and then we can recover that in the search warrant, and we put the case together, provide it to the district attorney. All the proof is there. You can't say it wasn't me, because this is the clothing you were wearing, this is the clothing that was found in your house, you know, and this is who you are, right? And it helps if they admit to the crime, right? But the video is very important. And a partial license plate, unique identifiers on the vehicle. You know, we had video of a red truck with the black lines on it. If that red truck with black lines is in the neighborhood. And I know that truck. Well, they say, I know this guy. Because the deputies are constantly patrolling, they're contacting people, and they see a lot that's going on. So if we make a flyer of that video, we can identify the person pretty quick.
Anything else?
Thank you.
I apologize for being late again.
No, thank you for being here.
Sorry about that.
Harley Hawk. Thank you for joining us. Stopping by from your walk and joining
Fast, and
us.
then I sat there for 20 minutes.
You know what's
Get here
up?
in 10 minutes.
You know what's up?
I guess. I'm always best off the cuff, so I didn't prepare anything.
No, it's okay. But into the mic so there are some people online.
All right. Hi, guys. Okay, hi. Okay, we're going to talk about National Night Out. So we really enjoyed, and I think most people did from the feedback, having it here over by at the library, which is county property, so it worked out really well. It does put a little bit more weight on us because we have to kind of serve all the communities, like when we're serving food, which is fine. But we're going to still have it here. It was really great, and it was really great to see all those other people too enjoy the event, which they've always been invited. It's just being here, a lot more people came, right? Because we're right here. So, okay, so this year's National Night Out, so we're going to hold it over at the library. I guess we're pending kind of final approval with that. This year, thankfully, Tim and Letty are going to take over. It's nice because I'm trying to not phase out, but take my kid's leaving a week after this event for college, okay? I'm super stressed, and I got a lot going on, so they're gonna help, and I really appreciate that. So they're gonna take care of the raffle area and the in the games area, which I don't know if you know, they have a lot of kids. They all worked it last year. It was amazing. They did a great job. So really happy, and thank you so very much for doing that. So they're gonna handle, if there's any donations for any kind of, I don't know, maybe I should back up. We got a huge donation last year, if you all remember, a couple of pallets of toys. We have tons of stuff to do a raffle this year. We didn't do one last year because we kind of were last-minuting it. You remember? It was kind of let's do National Night Out. We haven't done it since COVID. So we got a pallet of toys. So we're going to be able to do that really, the best part of the event, which I always thought, because every kid will get a toy of some sort. So it's a free raffle. We'll probably do another raffle. We didn't really do one last year, but maybe we'll come up with some items so we can raise some money back for the event because we're going to spend money. Speaking of money, we have a little bit of money, and we're asking the county first. They have a little grant thing that they do. They used to pay for all of our rentals, but things kind of changed in the way they handle stuff. So we're trying to get that. I probably will ask for small donations. Every bit helps if it's $5, $10, whatever. I thought about doing a T-shirt, a National Night Out T-shirt, the same way we sold the Santa. I should have wore it. The Santa T-shirts. We actually made $200 on that, and we didn't sell a ton of shirts. I think we sold 30 or 40 shirts, maybe. I don't.
Logo pack. We can customize it.
Yeah, we could customize it, Wiseburn, So I thought that might be, there's no harm in doing it. I mean, we don't, you have to hit a certain amount. If you don't sell a certain amount, I think it's just, and everybody gets their money back. And what I love about that site is everybody pays through it, and it's all automatic, except for they'll send them all to me, and you can come pick them up, or however, or we'll give them out at the event or whatever. Anyway, here nor there. So that's about money. We're going to need to raise some money. We need donations. We need more money because we have more people. We will be inviting all the neighborhood associations like we did last year. I forget who couldn't come, but one of them couldn't come. Delaware was there. Hollyglen couldn't come, or maybe they'll come this year.
Both were there. I think we had.
There was people there. They just didn't have a booth. So James, I don't know who I need to extend the official invitation to for Delaware, but we would definitely love for your Delaware to come on and join us, right? And we will do the same for Hollyglen. I will reach out to them. Okay, so that's neighborhood associations. Okay, last year we had Sunrun. Now, we don't, they asked if they could come, and I said, well, if you want to give us some donation, you can come. I don't have Sunrun. I don't use them. I know some people in the neighborhood who do, so it had nothing to do with that. So we had them last year. I was thinking of inviting a different solar company and also getting a donation from them. So I'm going to ask the people that did my roof. I've already done it. It's not like I'm giving them business or anything, and I'm going to ask them for money. So, and I had a great experience. So I get nothing, though, out of that. I just want to make that really clear. I just think that they're great guys because they really walked me through the entire thing, and I've had a great experience. And I know my neighbors have not with some of the other companies. So anyway, so we're going to ask them for money. We're going to invite them. That's pretty much the only outside. Then it'll be AYSO, Little League. Wiseburn has a girls softball now. What else do we have? We have face painting, which we need volunteers. So if anybody's, we'll put out an email, but face painting, what else? The library, I'm sure, will be here, and the county will have we'll do the same sort of thing. I'm sure they'll join us.
Utilities.
We did, the water company joined us last year. We will reach out to all the utilities this year. We'll even Edison and gas too, which is a great idea. I don't know why we just didn't have the room at the church. We have some room. we kind of fell off last year. I don't know if those of you there noticed that some people didn't kind of come. So we kind of had, and we have room. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, that's pretty much it. And then that leaves us to food. So last year was kind of, I don't want to say expensive, but it was the first time that we like served made food. Like usually, if you guys remember, Siobhan and Cammie used to, and you know, he's actually moved away. So they used to cook the food, and I don't even know if we can cook the food on the you know, there's issues. I don't know if we can cook the food, so we just figured it was easier to buy food. But Tim and them are going to talk to a couple businesses, maybe the taqueria, and see if they'll come and set up and do something for us, because they're a business, so they can do that. They handle food, you know. So maybe we can get some donations that way. If anybody knows anybody who's like a taco person or owns a small business that would come and cater for a decent rate, a nonprofit rate, please let us know. And also we decided we're going to do Costco hot dogs again. They went so fast. I think that was great for the kids, and it was so easy for us. Again, before we would barbecue hamburgers and hot dogs, but we're not doing that at the church, so. Is that it? Is there anything else?
It's the first Tuesday of August 6th.
Yes.
And I didn't put the location because we don't have the library parking lot approved just yet, but there's a good chance that we'll get it from 4 to 7.
How could I forget? Bill is handling the sheriff and the CHP, and I actually have to reach out to fire. But those folks, they always have a big setup. Last year, they showed up in force. That was amazing. Thank you, Bill. And then Patrick is going to handle like the sound stuff and the watch table with Bill. So I think we've got us all covered. Spouses, always thank you. Always volunteer. Watch members, you're welcome to volunteer. We'd love your help. We don't know specific shifts or any of that till we get closer, but if you want to reach out and say, I'd like to work maybe an hour or two, or morning or night or whatever, if it's in the prize and raffle area, you'll reach out to Tim and Letty. If it's about food, you can reach out to me or booths. If it's about the raffle, I guess that's also you guys, really, even though it's probably going to be at the watch table, whichever. So also Tim and Letty. So I think that's everything. And I think it'll be a fun event. I mean, how many of you were there last year? Do you think it was like the best one we had in far as like, yeah, like it was, I mean, it was just crowded. What's that?
The best in the last couple
Wow.
of years.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I think anything would have been great, right? After not having it for so long. So I guess the bar was low. So we're going to try to bring it up a little bit. But what's really exciting is having that pallet of toys. I mean, in past years, we have run around, and you guys have donated toys. You've come to people have come to my house with bags of toys, and so this is really wonderful to just have a nice big. We don't have to do that. So and you know, but we still would take donations. I'm not sure we need them though. I think we're going to go figure out what's there first, and then we'll see if we need any.
Until we go.
Right. Because we also.
Universal Pictures donated some.
Because the watch really needs.
A movie, Universal movie, and it's probably represented.
Yeah, we don't have storage, so it's all of us, and we need to get storage, because I think that's pretty much it. I didn't leave anything out. The library loved having us there. I guess they got a huge increase in like library card, when people came in. And so I did stop in first before we even asked Ara and all them to just make sure with Samantha, the librarian, you know, to make sure that it was, be respectful. Like, she was like, I'd love to have you. You know, I'm like, okay, I just want to make sure. So, so they're thrilled. I'd love to have it here forever. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I think we did everything. Is there any questions, perhaps, about National Night Out? No, because we all know You like the T-shirt idea? Yeah? You don't have to buy any. It's okay. Like, I'll probably buy one. It'll be a good sentimental little souvenir. A good little souvenir, you know. All right. Is that it? Yeah.
Thank you, Harley.
Thanks.
You know who the board members are. Next year we're up for election. We're always looking at how do we increase the membership. People ask if we post it next door. We do post it next door. People like to join online. People are join on social media, but it's hard to get people out in person. So if anybody has any ideas, please let us know. Mona, you have some questions? And I have an ad up there that those school districts send. If you have kids between, what are the ages of this? Through 8th grade, kinder through 8th grade, Wiseburn has summer programs for them it's a good deal. 6 weeks of camp for $350.
That's
normally
very
what a week of camp costs elsewhere. So the school district asked that we let everybody know, let your friends that have kids know. Mona.
Yeah, so speaking of the library, many of you guys have participated in programming at the library. That gets paid for by the Friends of the Library. In many cases, the county pays for some, we pay for some. We have a little problem. Half the active members are leaving town. We're losing enough that we might not be able to vote to approve money to give them because we don't meet a quorum. So we've got to get some new members to start attending. We meet every month, rotating between Hawthorne and Wiseburn. So this coming June, we'll be at Wiseburn. July will be...
Can you send us a reminder? We'll post it out to the list.
Absolutely, yeah. But we really need some folks to step up. The membership person's leaving, the fundraising person's leaving, and the vice president's leaving.
This is for Friends of the Library.
Yeah, so...
Talk a little bit about what Friends of the Library is.
Sure. Friends of the Library is a group, we're nonprofit, we take donations. We've gotten a couple bequests when people have died, where they've given large amounts, one to Hawthorne and one to Wiseburn. We manage that money that goes for a lot of the new furniture at both libraries. Some of it came from us. When the paperbacks died, we gave them a couple $100 each to buy new paperbacks. We pay for a couple programs each summer. And basically what we do is we're not doing big book sales, but if you walk into either library, there's a small sale always going on. We swap books between the two libraries to circulate what's available for sale. That money doesn't sound like a lot, but we've been making between $200 and $300 every 6 weeks at each library. So when you donate books, they get sold, that money goes back around into the community programming at the library. So I really encourage you guys, but we won't be able to pay for anything if we don't have enough people at the meetings that we can vote. We need some folks to step up and be willing to take the vice president, the fundraising and the membership. And, the Friends used to be a bunch of old biddies that were really nasty, and I wouldn't go, and a lot of other people wouldn't either. They're all gone. They're dead in retirement homes, wherever. They've moved away. It's a much younger crowd. It's more like what we have here. And it's people who care about the programming at the library. We need help from Del Air as well, because it's your library too. But we will not be able to fund programming if we don't meet our nonprofit charter. The rules of the road say I got to have four officers at a meeting. If we can't do that, then we start emailing for approvals. We wrote it into our bylaws. It allows us to go and vote by email. But we really want the participation of others. So if you have a little bit of time, even if all it is come to the meeting, that counts. We really do need the help.
How often do you meet?
Once a month for an hour or less. Many meetings are 30 minutes. I run a very efficient meeting. The answer is it starts at 7, and by 7:30, if we're done with the agenda, we're done. And so I'd say at least half of them end in 30 minutes. That's the time commitment. You might be asked to go in and do one fundraising letter to 2 businesses a month. It's that level of involvement. It's not huge.
So you're hopping from one library?
We switch back and forth because we are the Friends group for both libraries. So we really, talk to your friends. We need more participation. We meet in the library because there is no activities room at Wiseburn. So we're right to the far end, we're away from the kids here at Wiseburn, and we're in the activity room at Hawthorne. But we were just there, so we'll be at Wiseburn in June. But please come out and
email
support.
Reminder of that.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any more questions? Open forum. Any other questions before we adjourn the meeting? Going once, going twice? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.